We are here in Dynamo in Eindhoven, and I'm here with the guys from Grayscale. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing well, how are you?
I'm doing very fine. How is the Europe tour going so far?
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Exciting stuff, yeah.
So we came here one time before with As It Is, and that was like a year and a half ago. So this time we didn't prepare for it any differently. It was we just were really looking forward to coming back. We love playing UK, mainland Europe. Like, people here are so pleasant, and the reaction we get here is so incredibly great, and we're very thankful for that. So we were stoked to come back for sure.
All right, before we continue on your new album, I want to take a little look back to your last album, because you still released videos for that album this year. So that campaign ran really long.
Yeah.
How come?
Yeah. I just think we're in a very awesome place, and having such supportive fans that have been behind us for since the beginning. So I think we were able to really tour on that record and support it for 2+ years, and with the way everything's going with the new record Nella Vita, I think it's probably going to be no different than Adornment. Like I said, man, we're just stoked to have the fans we have and the support that we have from our label and our whole team, and we plan to definitely tour a ton on Nella Vita like we did for Adornment.
Nice. So you're doing Adornment 2.0.
Yeah, a lot of touring. I'm sure there'll be plenty more videos and all kinds of stuff for sure.
I was wondering which songs were like the most easy to write and which one's the most hard to write.
Yeah, good question. I think, at least I'll say for me, like lyrically, I would say, and kind of touching on what the previous question too, like I think the wide dynamic of the life experiences from a lyrical standpoint, it brought a lot of challenges in terms of like, the really expressing myself in a really like honest and raw way. So like some of the songs that are super personal to me, like Asbury Tommy's song and Old Friends, were definitely the most difficult for me as a lyricist to write and to track. And, it was definitely hard from an emotional standpoint. And then, as far as the easy ones, I feel like they're never really easy. You know what I mean? It's just, but it's just the level of like how emotionally taxing they are for me. And the three that I named were definitely like the most taxing for me, hardest to kind of keep it together when I'm tracking it and when I'm playing it, performing it. But as far as the musical part, I'll let Bill elaborate. If you have any.
I think actually it's going to be the same song that was the easiest and the hardest. Instrumental-wise, writing was... Can't even think of the name of it.
What's on Your Mind?
What's on Your Mind? Yeah, I don't know why I was blanking on it. That song was totally different when we went into the studio. It was a very like heavy rock song, and we spent a few days really like banging our heads against the wall trying to figure out how we can make this song work, because a couple of us weren't really happy with how heavy it actually sounded. And finally, I made the decision to just get everybody's brain off of it, and I went upstairs in the studio for like maybe 8 to 10 hours over the course of like 2 days, and the song that now is What's on Your Mind, that's what I came up with, and we stuck with that entire instrumental, and then Colin and our friend Curtis together came up with some really great melodies pretty quickly. So hardest being that we were so frustrated with it, but then easiest is that we just made it a totally different song. But yeah, I would say that's my answer.
One of your singles, In Violet, was co-written by John from The Main.
Mm-hmm.
How did that co-write come together?
Yeah, well, we did Warped Tour 2018. The Main was on that, and on that tour we became pretty good friends with them. And then shortly after, we did their B Market tour. When was that? May this year?
May, I believe.
Yeah, May of this year. I guess that was the last tour before our headliner we did with The Main. So we've become really good friends with that band, and they're a band that we definitely, on a musical level, on a person-to-person level, really get along with and appreciate. So John's a close friend of ours, and we just were like, we hit him up and we're like, yo, we'll fly out to Arizona, like let's write some songs together. So we did, and we wrote In Violet together.
Nice. So what's exactly the difference in his kind of songwriting that added to the song?
I would say he approaches it pretty similarly to us. I think, just kind of you know, being willing to experiment with all kinds of things and taking inspiration from all kinds of genres of music. You know, that song In Violet obviously has a lot of like, you know, kind of modern pop and like heavy sampling in parts and a lot of rock in some parts as well. So I think, yeah, I would say more so like the way his songwriting brain works with Dallas is they're pretty aligned musically, and I think that's why it worked out so well. And I hope and plan that there will be more co-writing in the future with John for sure.
Nice. Whose idea was it to add the trumpets, the brass in the song?
That was me. Yeah.
Nice.
Something fun. You know, it's actually not even horns, believe it or not. It's just a synth. They just kind of sound like horns.
Oh well, you had me. All right, something completely different. So you guys are spending a lot of time, or maybe your 6 members spending a lot of time on merchandise for a band, and it's like really a big part of your maybe tactic as a band. Why is that such a big thing for you guys?
I just think it started. Jordan, our videographer, creative director, him and I handle the merch primarily, and I think it honestly just started from like us wanting to make really, really good and unique merch for our fans, and like from there it just kind of took off, and it's gotten crazy in like the best way. But it's something we like really love doing. I feel like for me it's like a outside of music being my #1 outlet, like kind of making merch and like having an interest in like fashion retail is kind of like another artistic outlet for me and Jordan. So I think a love for it and a want to provide like cool, unique shit for the people that support our band was kind of the motivation behind it.
It's a good way to combine those two.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And are there some like bucket list items you ever wanna release with Grayscale?
Merch-wise?
Merch-wise?
We've done a couple really cool. We just did like a really like nice vintage baseball jersey. That was one of the things that we really wanted to do. We wanted to do Letterman jackets for a long time, like leather, like full-on football Letterman jackets, and we did that as well on our headlining tour. So those are 2 things. There's plenty more bucket list items for sure, but I don't know. I think we'll see. I don't want to give anything away.
Christmas is around the corner.
Christmas is around the corner, so we'll see soon. You'll see. There's a bucket list item or 2 coming up for Black Friday.